I've heard of eating the booty like groceries, but this was literal, okay? It was actually eating my ass. Hi guys, it's Adria and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be telling you guys 3 small scary stories that happened to me. These kind of just came to me today. I was like, I want to do a story time. I don't really know what to do, but I was like, hey, let me just think of some scary stuff that's happened to me that has freaked me out. It's a rainy day, it's kind of spooky, so I'm in like a spooky mood. Why not? Also, before we go any further, if you're not subscribed yet, or YouTube has unsubscribed you because they like to do that, make sure you're still subscribed and you can hit the bell notification down below so that you don't miss an upload, you know, if you want to keep up. So yeah, let's just get into this. So the first story I'm going to tell you guys today is the most recent. This actually just happened. It's so funny because sometimes you don't even realize that you're afraid of things until you're put face to face with it. I never considered myself afraid of ticks. I guess I'm actually super afraid of ticks. And I found out the hard way. So there was this day recently, I was having a really bad day. I don't know, I just felt really kind of weird. We were gonna go to the gym and I just start crying. I don't know, you know, sometimes life just kind of hits you and you're like, eh. So Brandon's like, do you still want to go to the gym? I'm like, I don't know, like I still wanted to work out. I felt pretty gross. You know that feeling where you really don't want to do physical activity, but you feel like you should? Because I had Chick-fil-A earlier that day, so I was like, maybe I feel like I should still do something. So we go to this park, and you can just kind of walk through the woods. They have like a nature trail. I didn't really think about ticks. When I was a kid, I didn't really play in places where there would be ticks. God's like, girl, it's spooky. Brandon said when he was a kid, he got like covered in ticks. And I'm just like, Brandon was kind of a gross kid. He also said he had lice and, you know, was covered in ticks and was always breaking bones and stuff. I'm just like, are you okay? Contrary to popular belief, I didn't grow up in the backwoods of Pennsylvania. I'm not like, you know, out in the woods getting dirty girl, like, no. So we walked through the woods. We saw a snake. We saw all this cool stuff. We saw a turkey. Yeah. Brandon has a tick on his leg. And I'm like, do we have to leave? I didn't really know. I'm like, do we have to leave to get it out? He's like, no, it's fine. So we just went about the day normal. You know, we were there for like another hour or so. So then we get home. The tick isn't on Brandon anymore. He was getting something ready to burn it off. So he's like, oh, my tick's gone, whatever. We were looking all over each other, just making sure there weren't ticks on us. So then I was just paranoid. You know how you feel like you're covered in bugs? You know, there's like a spider in your room and then you feel like you just have bugs all over you. That's how I felt. I just felt like I was covered in bugs. So then I take a shower and I'm getting out of the shower and my butt, I just feel like this like weird feeling on my butt. I'm like, oh my Lord, I think I have a tick on my butt. I thought maybe it was just me being paranoid. I turn and I look and there is a black thing dug into my butt cheek. In my butt cheek! I've heard of eating the booty like groceries, but this was literal, okay? It was actually eating my ass. I was like, I can't even breathe. I'm just like standing there in the shower. I scream for Brandon, is this a tick on my butt? And he comes in and he's like, yeah. And he's like, no, I'll go get something to burn it off. And I'm freaking out. I start hyperventilating. I'm crying. I'm like yelling at him like, please hurry, get it off. He's like, all right, I'm going to. No, he's like, just calm down first. I'm gonna go get something. I was like, no, just go do it now. He wanted me to dry myself off. He wanted me to get out of the shower, but I'm freaking out. I have a tick in my ass. And this may sound super dramatic, like, why are you freaking out so much? Why? Like, why? I've never had a tick on me before, ever. And second of all, I think, in hindsight, what it was is that I kind of have like that trypophobia with fear of holes in skin and things like that. And I'm just thinking I have this hole in my butt. So I'm like gagging. I was actually ready to throw up. When I tell you I could not even look at it, it was making me sick. We think the kind of tick it was, it's called a dog tick. So I'll put a picture of what it looked like. Anything with holes or dots or things on skin that aren't supposed to be there, it makes me physically ill. I was actually like banging on the side of the shower. I went into panic mode. I don't think I've ever had a panic attack like this in my life, and it actually kind of surprised me. And Brandon thought I was joking because of how dramatic it was. He was actually standing there like laughing because he thought I was just being funny. Girl, does this look like a joke? I'm standing here naked with a tick in my ass. This is not a joke. I was so scared. So he has a pair of scissors. He's lighting it on a flame and branding me with the scissors like a cow. I'm getting burned, trying to calm down, but my legs were trembling. I couldn't even stand right. Thank God he was there, because if I was by myself and had a tick in my butt, I don't even know what I would have done, girl. I would have like gotten a knife and been like, I would never think that I would react that way. It's so weird. So then it finally came out. I think he kind of killed it while it was still inside. And so he had to use tweezers and yank it out. And then there was just like a mark there. And I was just like, girl, never going camping, never going on a nature hike. I like doing that kind of stuff. But now I'm like, I'm gonna wear like 10 layers of clothes. No. Anyone else, please tell me I'm not alone. Have you ever freaked out from having a bug on you? Or in you. I'm fine with having a bug on me, but when it starts to drill its way in, no, I don't know you like that. Ugh, just bugs and like eggs and I don't know. I wanted to do a video kind of trying to expose myself to my trypophobia, testing how far I can go with looking at holes or eggs or things. Sometimes Brandon just sends me a picture with a frog with eggs all over its back just to make me angry. So that's my tick story. I had a horrible panic attack. It was awful. That tick took eating ass to a whole new level. So for this next story, I'm gonna talk about the time that I thought I was going to die while on an airplane. And it's a really brief story. I'll try to keep it short, but basically I was flying back home to PA. The flight was almost over. There was maybe like 20 minutes left. We had begun the descent. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm almost home. Yeah, girl. Then it started to feel bumpy and rough. And I felt the plane lift itself back up. When I tell you, I could see the ground. You know how when you're landing on a plane and you can see buildings in the street? You're like, oh, yay, civilization, I'm back. We start to go back up again. I'm like, what's going on here? I don't want to overreact because sometimes I do that on a plane. If there's like turbulence or something, I'm kind of like, but I look around and people around me are like, so I'm like, all right, if they're not scared, I'm not scared. So that's kind of how I look at it. But I look around, people around me are like, I'm like, oh dear God, this is the end. So I'm just looking around, I'm like, this has never happened before. We should be landing right now. What the heck is going on? So then a voice comes on over the intercom. Oh, we were gonna land, but there's still planes on the runway. We're gonna loop back around. Are you my mom in a minivan just looping around the parking lot? Like, girl, what do you mean we're just gonna loop around? We are in the sky. We are in a plane. It was so bumpy. It was so like, we were actually shaking, like jumping, like, whoa. And then I see the flight attendants like getting strapped into seats and everyone's face just kind of looks like, ooh, it was scary. I actually started praying. Normally, I don't get crazy on a plane, you know, there's turbulence. I get a little like uneasy, but, and especially because I was flying by myself. Most times I'm by myself. So I can't even be like, we good, fam? Like, so then we loop back around, probably New York, New Jersey, Delaware, I don't know. We're just looping around and then we finally land safely. But that was so terrifying. And that's the only time that that's ever happened. And so then my mom's like, how was your flight? I'm just like, I think I almost died, I'm not sure. But let me know if that's ever happened to you. Is that common? I don't know. Does that happen a lot? I don't know, but I'd like to think it doesn't. For my last story today, this was the time where I thought I was home alone, but I wasn't. So this was a good 7-8 years ago. This was a long time ago. Back at this time, there was a lot of people living in my house. It was my mom, my nana, my brother, myself, and my 2 younger sisters. So that's 6 people living under one roof, so it was a pretty full house. But where's Uncle Jesse, though? Okay. Rarely was I ever home alone. Chances are there was always at least one other person in the house. If you live with a lot of people, you probably relate to that. It was a Saturday morning. At the time, my sisters took piano lessons. My mom took my sisters to piano lessons. That's 3 out of 6 gone. My nana was going somewhere, so that's another one gone. At this time, my brother was really social and was rarely home on the weekends anyway, so gone. I was like, all right, well, this is my first time home alone pretty much ever. And you know, my mom and my nana were even telling me like, oh, you're gonna be here for a little while by yourself. Are you gonna be okay? I remember being in my nana's bathroom. I think I was putting makeup on or like fixing my hair or something because she had the best lighting in her bathroom. It was like the hallway, Then my Nana's room and her bathroom was off to the side. All of a sudden I hear banging downstairs. There's nobody here. After an hour of complete silence, just banging. I'm like, there is somebody in the house. I know I'm not here alone anymore because there is somebody in the house. Whenever someone would come home, they would always come in through the garage, and the garage door opening was very loud. I would have heard it. I was like, I didn't hear anybody come through the garage. Someone broke into the house. I didn't panic. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna see what's going on first. So I walk into my Nana's bedroom and I peek out of her door and I hear loud footsteps coming up the basement stairs very slowly. Oh my gosh, someone came in. They must have come in through the basement window or something, but they're coming up the stairs. Woo! All right, so I'm just standing there with the door cracked and I see the door fling open. I dart back into my Nana's room and I grab the phone. I'm calling my mom. I'm crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's someone in the house. I'm trying to be quiet, but I'm crying.
There's someone in the house. I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
Well, she was telling me to get off the phone with her because she's like, if there is somebody in the house, you need to call 911. Yeah, she didn't want to keep me on the phone. She was like, you have to be quiet. You have to stay in your Nana's bathroom, lock the doors, just stay in there. You know, if you see somebody, call 911. I was like, okay. Neighbor, can you not thud while I'm telling a scary story? Holy crap. So I wanted to call 911, but I was really kind of scared too. I don't know, anyone else just kind of uneasy about calling 911? It just kind of freaks me out. I go and peek one last time. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna confirm that there is somebody in here so that the police don't just come here for no reason. I peek my head out through a little crack in the door. I'm looking over the railing to downstairs and I can see the basement door, and my brother is standing there with a Christmas tree and he looks up at me and I'm holding a phone in a shaking hand crying and he's like, what's the matter? And I just drop to the floor. I'm like, I thought I was here by myself. I thought you were an intruder. I've never been more happy to see my brother in my entire life, girl. He probably thought it was the most pathetic thing he had ever seen. But girl, I thought I was there by myself. The house was dead silent for an hour and then out of nowhere my brother appears. That's just baloney. Can you imagine if I would have called the cops on my brother and they come and they're like, thanks for wasting our time. Have a nice day. I felt really stupid, but at the same time, that was scary. When you think you're home alone, you have no idea that someone else in your house is actually still there. I don't know what he was doing for an hour. He was so quiet. He was probably still asleep. So that is gonna do it for today's story time video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. I post videos 3 times a week. Leave a comment down below. What's one of the scariest things that has ever happened to you? And if you wanna watch more story time videos, I will have a playlist linked up here. I recommend you watch more. There's a lot more exciting things. And if you want, you can find me on all my social media. All those are found down below. I will see you guys again real soon. Until then, panda hugs. I love you guys. Bye! And if you ever think there's someone in your house, don't be afraid to call 911. Okay, bye.